Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And first off, I'd like to say thanks to Tony Meader, who sent me a bunch of knives in for review. And I can't thank him enough. Awesome guy. Go check him out on Instagram. I'll leave a link down to his channel below. The knife you have in front of you is the Tashi Bharucha Rowdy HiTech. And this knife was produced in custom knife maker Jerry McGinnis's shop. And anybody who's been in the knife game long enough knows Jerry McGinnis's top-notch quality. So let's get some quick specs out of the way real quick. Let's see. You have about a 3.5-inch blade, about an 8.25-inch total length, and your grip area is about a little bit over 3 3/4. So for me, that's a great EDC size. Let's get a quick weight on this guy. Let's see if I can. Whoop. 5 ounces, which is not light. It's more geared to your hard use EDC knife, and let's get into it. So what you have right here is a nice clip point blade shape. That's one of my favorite blade shapes. Almost like a harpoon. You got this flat up here, and you got your clip point right here. You have a stone wash finish on the knife of CPM 154 steel. CPM 154 is a great steel. It's like your average high-end steel. It's good. It's like jack of all trades, master of none there. You have no jimping up top, but we'll talk about that later. You got Tashi's logo, maker's mark, and I absolutely love that maker's mark. I always thought it was the coolest looking thing and nice and tasteful. It's kind of big, but it's okay. On this side, completely sterile. You have a sharpening choil that is executed perfect. You all know I'm a stickler for the sharpening choil. You got this nice attractive top swedge that gives you a little bit better point for piercing, but definitely a robust point. Sorry about the sniffles, I got a cold. And let's dive back into the handle. You have this nice blue anodized titanium frame with speed holes in the middle to lighten it up a little bit and have an aesthetic touch. You can see the blade. I think that looks pretty neat. You have some nice chamfering going on all the way around the knife. You don't have any sharp edges, no sharp corners. You got a nice generous lanyard hole in the back that'll fit 550 cord through it. You got just a plain Jane T8 Torx with your T8 in the back as well. I like to see that. Your flipper tab is done great. You have some mild jimping right there, enough to grab the fingers. No sharp corners on this. And I love how you have this little scoop right there, so there's no thought involved. You just pull back. Light switch is probably the easiest, no thinking about it. You can push on that top, but it's not as comfortable as just pulling back in a light switch manner. And as you can see, that knife is super smooth, nice action. The detent on it isn't strong. It's probably a moderate detent. It's not going to shake out really easily. It's not going to shake out. You can just, no problems. It deploys pretty much 100% of the time. And it's very addictive too. Let me just tell you that. The ergos on this knife, at first, they kind of looked a little funny. But anytime I see this back swell in the back, it's usually a good fit, especially for my medium-sized hands. My 2 fingers fit in that extended choil right there, and then these 2 go right here. So this grip is an A+ right there, locks in. That's why I said you don't really need the jimping, because you really lock in. You got a semi-guard with the flipper tab right there, really good. And this is very good in this grip as well. And your pinch grip for detailed, you can comfortably hold it like that as well. And the reverse grip that I never use is very comfortable because your thumb lands right there on that section to where you got that flat spot. so you could do a hard penetration in the reverse, the reverse grip. You have a G10 backspacer that goes about 3/4 of the entire 3/4 of the length of the handle, and that blade is nice and deep in there. You're not going to cut your finger on this blade while it's in your pocket. Coming over to the tip area, the tip is sunk in there far enough for mine. I can't catch it with my fingers whatsoever, so they did an awesome job on that as well. The anodization on here is done really nicely. I mean, the oils in my fingers make it look spotty right now. I probably should have cleaned it with Windex, but hey, that's what you get with me. Like I said, very smooth. I'm not sure if it's on, I mean, I know it's riding on bearings. I'm not sure if it's ceramic bearings or not. And this knife was bought by Tony on Massdrop. If you're not a member of Massdrop, I would go sign up right now, because they have, you can set up your communities, and I'm in the everyday carry community, so they have knives, EDC gear, you name it, it's in there, and you can request certain things, and you can get exclusive drops. I don't think this was an exclusive to Massdrop, because I know they're produced at other places too, but they have knives that you can only get from their site. So go check that out. I'll try to leave a link of that in the description box below as well. I'm pretty sure I didn't get in on this drop, but I think they were anywhere from 450 to around 550, and it's, like I said, it's in that mid-tech, you know, gray area, mid-tech range. So, you know, I'm gonna let you decide whether you think it's worth it by the time I finish this video. Let's get a couple of quick size comparisons out of the way. Got your Benchmade Anthem. These two are almost, if not identical in size. The Anthem might be just a titch smaller. It's got your Chris Reeve Nkosi, large Nkosi. These two might be a little bit closer in size. They're probably about the same exact size. There you go. And close in about that same price range. Let's see what else I have. Something that more people have. Your Spyderco Delica 4 is a good bit smaller. And two more, I got your Microtech MK6 Sigil. And this is going to be a bigger knife by a good bit. There you go. So, as you can see, the HiTech is in that good medium size carry. It's not over large, and it's not too small. To me, it's that sweet spot. And one more, the Spyderco Schliess Bowie. And the buoy is about, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch smaller. Alrighty. So, touched on all the things. Everything on this knife is sound. It's a well-built knife, quality designer, quality maker. And let's get into my few little nitpicks that don't hurt the functionality of the knife, but, you know, knife can't be perfect. First off, something that kind of bugs me a good bit is after they sharpen the knife, they must have like hit it on a buffer or some kind of strop wheel. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you this, but it removed the stone wash. And I can't stand, I've seen it on a few of the HiTechs. You see that? How the stone wash is removed. You can see it better when I put my finger right there, because they hit it a little bit too high. I don't know, it's just, especially when a knife costs much, I would expect that kind of stuff not to be there. But like I said, it's not hurting the functionality of this knife whatsoever. This knife came to me, I don't know how much Tony used it, but it came really sharp. It strops up really well, and I was able to touch it up on the sharp maker without a problem. Being that you got almost a full height, flat grind, full flat almost, about 3/4 away. It's a pretty good slicer, especially for how thick the blade stock is. It looks like it's almost about 4 millimeters. So like I said, it's geared toward your tougher task, but it can also do some of the finer work. Let's see, another complaint I have is with this pocket clip. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but most of all, this sucker, I mean, has got so much tension. I wear very thin, lightweight shorts, and I could barely get this thing to slide between there. I don't know if you had some thicker shorts. Let me see. This is this would be some like thicker pants. Let's see if I can get it in here. I might have to try this other one. Yeah, let me go with this one. So let's see what it looks like in the pocket. If I can get in there. Now see, sliding it in there is rather tough. Now that's about how much sticking out. It's not impossible, and it can fit into the thicker pants, but it's not going to go anywhere. Sometimes it took me a little bit of aid to kind of lift the clip up. Let's see. But the good thing is the frame's stone washed, so it's nice and smooth. So you got that much sticking out when you got this slanted pocket, and you got enough to grab and pull it out the pocket. So that's, like I said, that's another just nitpick. Something else I'm not a big fan of seeing unless, they harden the tie, but the screws come from this side and they screw into the titanium, which can definitely be problematic, because if you cross thread that, or you gauge it up, you over tighten it, then you're screwed, because it's going into the frame. If it's going into, say, a female bushing or something, then you just change out the bushings, no problem. I don't like to see that much, but I've only had issues with something like that stripping out, and it was on a cheaper knife, so maybe it's not as big of an issue as I'm saying. This knife is dead on center. Another thing, and like I said, I'm really picking hard at it, being that it's at the price point it's at, and gotta at least tell you what I think. And then I don't like to see how wide this cutout is. Like, for instance, look how slim, and I know it has to do with whatever kind of machines they're using, wire EDM or water jet, or however they're cutting out the lock bars. But I can show you the Bowie too. See, the Bowie is nowhere near. You got a good gap in between there, and it's just not as aesthetically pleasing. I mean, look how tight that one is. Yeah. So there's my minor complaints. I will say that at first I didn't think I was gonna be as enamored with this knife as I was. I mean, whenever I first seen it in the pictures, and when Tony said he was sending it to me. But it's always nice, getting these knives that I wouldn't really bought myself, so I can actually see it and feel them in hand. And this knife, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know, the comfort in hand. Another thing I will say, if you have big old hands, my fingers fit perfectly right there with my medium-sized hands. If you had bigger hands, your finger would probably sit on that. And I can't tell you if it's going to be ergonomic. I know if I'm holding it like that with that finger, it doesn't feel too good. But that's just something you'd have to see once you got it in hand. But it's very ergonomic with my medium-sized hands. And like I said, look, watch this. It drops super free. Barely have to shake it, and that thing goes right back to its home. Boop. Not the detent is done just right. It's nice and snappy, and I could do this all day. Nice and snappy, but it's not super strong. It's a mild detent. A moderate. There you go. You heard the click. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything that I want to talk about. So if you own this knife, they have different versions, different patterns on here I've seen. You can get it in different color anodizing. I forgot there's a site that you can get these on right now. Dang it, I can't think of it. Just go search Rowdy HiTech, and you'll get it. So hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day. My dog's going crazy, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Get up on the giveaways, and I try to put out at least one review a week, if not more. And like I said, everybody have a great one. Peace.